Just my luck to get stuck here with all the cripples. Meanwhile, Thomas and Pavel are probably playing dice up on the battlements. Another one. Watch what you're doing. There's people walking here.
Hal?
It's good to see you too, Miss.
Sir Red?
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad to see you have a job. Lots of our old neighbors have been reduced to begging. If I were in your shoes, I'd get the hell out of here. There's some disease spreading.
Disease?
Folk are saying it's the plague. Whatever it is, it's bad. It started the day after the raid. First the horses got sick, then other animals, and now people are falling ill too.
Oh, damn. Are you alright?
Well, at least I haven't caught the sickness.
But you've been hurt.
It happened.
Tell me about the raid.
What do you want to know?
I hear one of the raiders was taken captive. I'd like to question him.
Aye, old Melachar let him have it over the head with a flail, and now he's locked up in the barn. But be careful.
Why's that?
That fucker killed young Straw, and his old man's sharpening his sickle for him. Melachar still hasn't decided what to do with him.
I can tell you what he'll do with him.
I doubt Melachar will let him go.
I hear one of the... Why's that?
That fucker killed young Straw.
I understand, old...
Good luck, then.
Can you describe the raid?
I don't know. They came at dusk, so you couldn't see their faces. About 20 of them. They weren't humans, though. They spoke Czech.
You talked to them?
No. They were shouting at us. They were very sure of themselves to begin with, but when we hit them in the woods, they didn't look so brave.
I know you've got courage enough for any man, but how did a bunch of untrained villagers manage to hold off armed bandits?
One of the village lads caught sight of them coming through the woods and told Melachar, who roused the whole village, and everyone grabbed what they could. Pitchforks, axes, flails, and we went out to face them.
What? You might...
Aye, and that was the key. It was a few of them still...
About this sickness. When did this plague start?
The day after the raid. The horses were lying down in the stable, so we knew something was up. By afternoon, they were all dead. Then other animals started getting sick, one after the other, and then people.
What are the signs that someone's getting sick?
I don't leave the house much, but folk complain of fever and shakes. Some are throwing their guts up, and others are spewing from the other end.
Has anyone died from it?
Aye, old Verba. Although he was already on his last legs, so no one knows for sure if it was the plague that got him. Either way, the animals are dropping like flies, and people will end up the same for sure.
Who's ill now?
I don't know. What with my arm the way it is, I don't go outdoors much. But I know Melachar and Straw has...
Can I ask you a bit about Merhoyed?
I haven't been here long enough to learn much, but ask away.
Can you tell me something about...
He's a woodcutter, tough as they come, and a hothead. He's been out of his mind since his boy died.
That's normal to grieve, though.
Depends how you look at it. Folk are afraid he'll snap or drink himself to death. What's worse, his wife caught the sickness, and he's not taking...
Where can I find this straw?
When you take the main...
What's Melachar like?
The locals look up to him.
I know.
Sir Hanush hasn't had time to appoint a new vassal, and folk need someone to speak for them, so they picked Melachar.
Since when do subjects govern a village in place of the lord?
What can we do? If it weren't for Melachar, those bandits would have torched the place to the ground. The villagers won't follow anyone else.
What's Melachar like?
The locals look up to him. Smill used to be in charge here, but he was killed in Neuhof.
I know.
Sir Hanush hasn't had time to appoint a new vassal, and folk need someone to speak for them, so they picked Melachar.
Thank God you had some...
Aye.
Where does Melachar live?
When you take the main gate out of the stables, you'll see 2 cottages outside.
Mr. Melikar.
What in God's name is he up to?
You're not allowed inside. God be with you.
I need to talk to that.
Sorry, no one...
I urgently need to question that prisoner. People's lives depend on it.
So does mine. If you want to talk to the captive... That was the last straw! What is it? Jesus, look where you're going. Be a bit more careful. What the hell? Hey. What the hell are you... You're not allowed inside. You want to go in?
Are you Melikar?
Aye, that's me.
I need to speak with the prisoner.
And why is that? Who might you...
Henry, envoy of Saradze Kobala.
I'm sorry. I have other things on my mind right now. In case you hadn't noticed...
No news has reached Ratai of any disease here. But I'm here now, and I can help you.
Well, since you serve Sir Adzig, you might be of some use. If anyone can be.
Tell me what to do.
There's a stable hand living with us here, Matthias.
Yes, I know him.
And he knows some girl who helps out in the monastery infirmary. Johanka, I think her name is. If she's actually...
Very well.
Thank you. At least for taking the trouble. But then...
If I have to go to the monastery, I need...
It's hard to say. My wife is feverish. Others have the chills. I heard some are throwing up. Others still are breaking out in sores. But why don't you see for yourself? People talk a lot and I don't know what to believe anymore.
Very well. I'll make the rounds.
I've daubed lime on the afflicted houses. But don't stay too...
Jesus, lad, what are you doing here?
I'm here because of it. The monarch...
God bless you, boy.
I need to know exactly what...
Oh, I see. Well, I have a dreadful fever. My wife, too. I recall almost nothing of yesterday. I was raving for most of it.
Is there anything else? Apart from the fever?
Well, forgive me for saying so. The shit just pours out of me. I can't keep anything in. I'm completely worn out. My wife's the same.
You have my thanks.
Wait a minute, will you? I have one favor to ask.
So tell me.
I need to write my will.
Sorry, I can't write.
Well, if you say...
Who are you?
Please accept my condolence.
Thank you. My poor, good husband. I took care of him as much as I could, but this morning...
I'm sorry to hear that.
What do you need from me?
They sent me to the monastery for help, but I need to know how the disease shows itself.
Yes, I'll tell you everything, but first help me bury my husband.
Of course I'll help you.
Thank you. We have to bury...
I understand.
Thank you. When you're ready, come back. Merciful God, grant his soul eternal rest.
Will you please tell me about his illness?
Certainly. My husband had the fever all over.
Anything else?
He had great pains in his belly. He said it felt like it'd been stuffed with rocks. He was writhing all night through. It must have hurt terribly.
Thank you.
Why has this happened?
Have you come for my wife? You're out of luck. I'm old straw that you've taken my son. But you shan't take...
I've come to help your wife.
To help her over to the other side. Isn't that God's own truth?
I'm sorry that they killed your son. I truly am sorry. But if you don't want that disease to take your wife, you'll let me see her right away. I can help her.
I don't want her taken, no.
There. You see?
What? Are you a quack?
Something like that.
Then go to it. Go!
Fever. Just like Melchar's wife. Fever. Just like Melchar's wife.
Leave me be, up.